The guild leader praised Lim Dae-in for his amazing performance, and Lim Dae-in asked about Jang Yuk's condition. The leader assured him that there were no life-threatening injuries and that Jang Yuk would recover after a few days of rest, thanks to Lim Dae-in holding back his strength. Lim Dae-in, with a confident expression, replied that it was merely an appearance. In his thoughts, the guild leader knew that if he hadn't controlled his strength, Jang Yuk's injuries would have been much worse. He also realized that the guild leader was aware of his true strength. However, he felt that he had already met the requirements to join the guild and looked forward to the rest of the tests with a smile. Lily, curious about his sudden smile, asked why he was grinning like a pervert. Lim Dae-in responded that he needed the upper hand in a fight. They then moved to the second sparring location, the artificial forest training grounds. Baek Youngwee explained that the White House's first unit had 6 teams of 5 people each, and Lim Dae-in's next opponent was the leader of the 6th team. The team leader, Im Yong Dae-hoon, introduced himself and prepared for the match. Lim Dae-in noticed that Dae-hoon was among the guild members who had sent him a killing intent earlier. The match began, and Lim Dae-in was the first to attack. He dashed toward the team leader and attempted to punch him, wearing his watch's knuckles. Dae-hoon blocked the punch with his shield and retaliated with a sword swing. Lim Dae-in swiftly evaded the attack by bending his body. Dae-hoon saw an opportunity and swung his shield, but Lim Dae-in dashed behind him. He used a technique called the Eagle's Claw, but Dae-hoon managed to block it with his shield. Dae-hoon swung his sword again, but Lim Dae-in skillfully avoided it and used his body to push Dae-hoon, employing a technique called the Steel Mountain. Dae-hoon was sent flying and crashed into a tree, which broke upon impact. Despite the damage, Dae-hoon managed to stand, and Lim Dae-in realized that his opponent had remarkable physical endurance. After their intense fight, Dae-hoon acknowledged Lim Dae-in's strength and even requested to have him assigned to his team, believing they would make great partners. However, Lim Dae-in was taken aback by this suggestion and asked, "Says who?" Dae-hoon confidently replied, "Says the winner," and turned to the guild leader for approval. Lim Dae-in saw an opportunity and made his own bold proposal. He stated that if he won, he wanted to become a team leader and have the freedom to run his own team with recruits of his choice, carrying out missions independently. The guild members murmured their disbelief at his audacious request. The guild leader agreed to Lim Dae-in's proposal but added a condition: if he lost, his signing bonus would be halved, and his contract period doubled. Lim Dae-in accepted the challenge. Dae-hoon, now more arrogant and taunting, asked Lim Dae-in if he had feelings for Baek Youngwee, suggesting that their previous conflict might be related to her. Lim Dae-in confirmed that Youngwee's interest in him had played a role in their confrontation. In Lim Dae-in's memories, he knew that Yong Dae-hoon would cause a significant controversy in the near future and had faced humiliation and expulsion from the guild. Lim Dae-in couldn't resist adding one more taunt, telling Dae-hoon to clean up his room filled with pictures of Youngwee. This revelation infuriated Dae-hoon, who emitted his aura and declared that he would show Lim Dae-in what a future team leader was made of, entering a bull mode that boosted his mana levels and physical abilities. Dae-hoon runs and dashes to attack Lim Dae-in. He emits the blue aura in his first, the Great Sea Mine technique. As Dae-hoon charges, Lim Dae-in forms a punch saying, "You better block this with that shield." As Lim Dae-in unleashed his punch while enveloped in the blue aura of the Great Sea Mine technique, Dae-hoon attempted to block it with his shield. However, the force behind Lim Dae-in's attack was overwhelming. Dae-hoon's shield shattered, and the shockwave from the impact sent him flying into 3 trees, causing them all to break. The guild leader and Youngwee watched the match carefully, and Dae-hoon ended up knocked out, sitting on the ground. Lim Dae-in, after the intense fight, sat down and expressed his exhaustion. He says, "Oh, my whole body, making money is hard as shit." After Lim Dae-in's victory against Dae-hoon, he felt the strain on his body from using the Great Sea Mine technique and realized he needed to temporarily fix his weakened state with the technique before his next sparring match. Young Hee congratulated Lim Dae-in on becoming the 7-team leader and called him team leader. Lim Dae-in liked the sound of it and mentioned that the contract stated passing 2 tests would earn him a 1 billion signing bonus, but now that he had that amount, he had his eyes set on the 20 billion he had negotiated earlier. When Lim Dae-in asked about his last opponent, the guild leader surprised everyone by revealing that he would be Lim Dae-in's final test. Lim Dae-in and Young Wai became momentarily silent, but then Lim Dae-in stated that he gave up on the third test. The guild leader, while flexing his muscles, becomes confused, asking why. The guild leader, initially disappointed, tried to negotiate a shorter fight for a higher reward, but Lim Dae-in insisted that he couldn't fight anymore. Young Hee intervened, reminding the guild leader that it was time to finalize the contract, and the guild leader relented. With a signing bonus of 1 billion and assigned as the 7-team leader, the contract was signed. Lim Dae-in put his thumb mark on the contract and expressed his hope for a good working relationship with Young Wai. Young Wai inquired about Lim Dae-in's plans for hiring his team members, and he mentioned that he was thinking of hiring each member one by one. He asks, "Can I sign a contract with someone right now too?" To hire someone who was not affiliated with any guild yet and was extremely talented, referring to Lily. Lily, surprised and drawing at that moment, looked at him with confusion. Lim Dae-in had given Lily a command to unleash her fiery powers to their maximum potential. However, Lily's response was unexpected. She declined the order, explaining that her hunger was a more pressing concern. Undeterred, Lim Dae-in used a clever incentive to coax her into compliance. He tempted her with the offer of 3 fried chickens, and Lily couldn't resist. She immediately left her seat and, with both hands, conjured a massive flame while exclaiming, "3 fried chickens." The sudden spectacle surprised Young Wai, who couldn't help but inquire, "Is your sister also a hero?" Lim Dae-in's enthusiasm was palpable as he replied, "Yes, that's why I want her to join my team immediately." As Lim Dae-in marveled at Lily's control over her fiery abilities, he thought to himself, she can control her fire so precisely, without causing any damage to her surroundings. It's hard to believe she's mastered this ability after just a few days of training. There's a reason why she was called a calamity. Lim Dae-in then turned his attention to practical matters, proposing, "Should we discuss Lily's initial payment now? Let's start with 3 billion. Young Wai needed a moment, and after Lily's fiery performance, he approached Lim Dae-in to claim the 3 promised chickens. The scene transitioned to Lily savoring her reward as she indulged in the deliciously crispy chickens. Lily had now officially become a member of the White House 7th team and received an impressive down payment of 5 billion. In Lim Dae-in's contemplation, he considered the scope of the White House facilities, realizing that the entire building was owned by the organization. It served as a hub for various functions, including training rooms, accommodations, and an operational control center, employing not only heroes but also numerous civilians. Curious about Lim Dae-in's reaction, Young Wai asked, "Aren't you impressed by our cutting-edge facilities?" Lim Dae-in maintained his composed demeanor and responded, "I'm not easily impressed." Internally, he reflected, from a future perspective, this may seem somewhat outdated, but it's still impressive. Young Wai then guided Lim Dae-in to a specialized room, explaining, "This is our equipment production workshop. If you need any equipment, we can craft it for you within a week." Lim Dae-in politely declined, saying, "I already have a trusted source for equipment production. However, I'll take a few items that I'll need for the time being." He selected 2 daggers, thinking to himself, "These should suffice for my immediate needs." Lim Dae-in examined the 2 daggers he had chosen and remarked, "I'll use these 2 daggers for the time being. Now, have we seen everything we needed to see?" Young Wai responded, "Since today's your first day, we can conclude after you meet with the president." As if on cue, the president, who also served as the guild leader, arrived. The guild leader greeted Lim Dae-in, exclaiming, "Team Leader Lim. So, here you are." There was an urgent call from the operational control center. All the teams were already out in the field, and we were in a sticky situation. "I'm sorry to ask this on your first day, but could you go out into the field for a bit?" Internally, Lim Dae-in sighed, thinking, "I thought I'd be able to leave early because it's my first day." He then inquired of the guild leader, "Where do I need to go?" The guild leader explained, "First, you need to head to the gate formed from a 10-meter high wall. There are large numbers of huge snail monsters appearing in that area. Hunters are having a tough time fighting them." A message from the guild control center came in, asking, "Have you arrived? What's the situation on the ground?" Upon their arrival at the scene, Lim Dae-in observed, "It's still a total circus. However, it seems most of the monsters have been handled. Do we really need to intervene?" They look so weak and useless. The control center urgently relayed, we desperately need specimens of this new monster type. Please secure at least 3 of them while keeping their original shape as intact as possible. Lim Dae-in nodded and affirmed, yes, I understand. Internally, he reflected, even in the future, this monster is shunned by others. The Great Pungent Snail. The monster itself is weak, but if it takes a substantial hit, it explodes, emitting a terrible odor. Lily, repulsed by the odor, remarked, the smell. Do we really have to fight these? Lim Dae-in reassured her, saying, I've blocked off my sense of smell using mana. Should I teach you? Curious, Lily asked, you can block off scents with mana? Lim Dae-in replied, it won't work immediately, but if you keep practicing, you can master it. Lily was suddenly amazed and exclaimed, it really works. I can't smell anything. Lim Dae-in couldn't help but think, she's quite talented even without any formal training. He instructed Lily, stay here. I'll quickly capture a few and return. Lily nodded in understanding. Lim Dae-in pondered, as far as I can see, there's nowhere I can safely obtain a sample. These creatures explode even with the slightest amount of mana, and mana-free attacks don't work well either. First, let's capture one of them. Spotting a pungent snail perched in a tree, he gave it a swift kick, causing the snail to tumble. As it descended, Lim Dae-in employed the Taeguk fist technique, harnessing swirling energy to disorient the snail and successfully capture it. Impressed, Lily requested, how did you do that just now? Teach me. Lim Dae-in playfully responded, if you want to learn, then you'll have to pay up. How about 10 billion? Lily protested, no way. 10 billion could buy so many fried chickens. Lim Dae-in thought, this kid wants to empty my wallet. Lim Dae-in contacted the control center, reporting, Control center, specimen retrieval is complete. I've secured exactly 3 snails. I'll hand them over to the collection team and clock out for today. The control center replied with surprise, already? They added, technically, you can clock out, but this was your first mission. Was there anything you were nervous about or wanted to ask? Lim Dae-in reassured them, saying, there's nothing to worry about. Everything seemed under control when I arrived. Suddenly, someone approached him and asked, are you part of White House? I've never seen your face before. A new recruit? Lim Dae-in confirmed, yes, and? The person continued, I heard you guys recruited a new rookie. The observant guy noticed Lim Dae-in's armband and inquired, isn't that an armband for a team leader class? Do they really have no one else that they're making a rookie a team leader? Lim Dae-in chose not to respond, prompting the guy to press further, asking, yo, was the skill you used earlier your attribute? This guy was Jang Seo-kyun from the Black Hound Guild, the former 5-team leader. Recognizing him, Lim Dae-in thought, it's been a while, my former supervisor. Lim Dae-in finally asked, don't just chatter all at once like that. What do you want? Seo-kyun explained, that damn snail keeps exploding if you touch it. So none of us have been able to get a proper specimen, you know? Lim Dae-in replied, so, you want it? Even though I don't really want to give it to you. The 3rd team leader from the Warriors Guild interrupted, saying, don't want to? How old are you? You're speaking casually, aren't you? The 5-team leader of the Royal Family Guild chimed in, don't be so careful, my friend. Think about it well, brother. We'll be seeing each other on the field a lot in the future, so it's nice if we help each other and improve our performances, right? They seemed intent on taking the pungent snail from Lim Dae-in. However, Young Wai from the control center overheard the commotion and intervened, urging Lim Dae-in to decline and warning, you can't do this. I'll file an official complaint with the guild later. Lim Dae-in thought, I've been through this sort of thing many times. They're contemplating attacking the gunny sack if I don't hand it over. Resigned, Lim Dae-in conceded, take it. They criticized him for not agreeing sooner. In response, Lim Dae-in calmly sat on the sack and challenged them, saying, take it if you can. This statement aggravated the men further. The representative from the Royal Family Guild declared, we tried to resolve this peacefully with words. The representative from the Black Hound Guild angrily retorted, but you bastard, you really want to go against us? Is that what you want? Lim Dae-in quietly instructed Lily, when I signal, light up this whole area with fire to confuse them all. Lily inquired, should I set them all on fire? Lim Dae-in quickly responded, you can't do that. It would cause problems if you killed them. Just light up the area. Internally, Lim Dae-in thought, acting as if someone was wondering if she's a seed of calamity or not. The man from the Black Hound Guild assumed a fighting stance, seemingly ready to teach Lim Dae-in a lesson. However, a sudden disturbance occurred as the gate portal malfunctioned, and a larger snail emerged. Hunters prepared to confront the new threat, and one of them warned, don't try to meddle here. If you interfere clumsily, we won't be responsible even if you get hurt. Lim Dae-in quickly responded, yes, yes. Turning to Lily, he suggested, let's leave this in the car. The hunters engaged in battle with the formidable snail, but their efforts seemed futile as they struggled to cut through its tough exterior. One of the hunters found himself ensnared by the snail's tentacles, with another attempting to rescue him. As Lim Dae-in placed his captured snail in the car, he received a call from the control center urging him to join the fight. They emphasized, you must strike down at least one leg to claim ownership of the spoils. Lim Dae-in calmly replied, there's nothing to worry about. They won't be able to subdue it with their current power. The situation grew more perilous as the man from the Black Hound Guild commanded the hunters to retreat. Their shields, designed to withstand the snail's tentacles, were melting under the snail's corrosive touch. In response, the ranged attackers prepared to engage. While the hunters made their escape, Lim Dae-in and Lily watched from the car. Lily couldn't contain her impatience and asked, how long are we going to just keep watching? Lim Dae-in replied calmly, until all of them are out here. One of the hunters retreating was Wang Guho, known as the pushover of the Black Hound Guild. Another hunter explained that their weapons were corroding, forcing them to withdraw. However, Wang Guho, slower in his retreat, found himself ensnared by the snail's tentacles. The snail began lifting him toward its mouth. In a dramatic rescue, Lim Dae-in swiftly cut off the tentacles to save Wang Guho. Grateful, Wang Guho thanked him, but Lim Dae-in sternly advised, that's not how you use your attributes. If you want to learn the right way, look for me on another occasion. Lim Dae-in recognized Wang Guho's guild affiliation, as he had been part of the Black Hound Guild before returning to the past. Lim Dae-in then instructed Lily to take action, and she created a fiery barrier. The sudden burst of flames surprised the hunters, who couldn't comprehend its origin. The control center contacted Lim Dae-in urgently, expressing concern, team leader. You've seen how the other heroes are. This is too reckless. Support teams will arrive in 5 minutes, so please wait for them and join the fight together. Lim Dae-in countered, in 5 minutes, the support teams from other guilds will arrive as well. It's better for the guild if we monopolize this one. Unable to provide drone support due to the dangerous situation, the control center ordered the drone team to back off. Young Wai from the control center voiced her worries, saying, monopolizing it isn't important, it's too dangerous. Lim Dae-in reassured her, don't worry. I'll capture it safely and come out. Young Wai warned him, if you come out injured, I'll be really upset. Internally, Lim Dae-in reflected, it's classified as a monster of the grotesque beast class, and there's a separate entry for it in the guidebook. To prepare for unexpected situations, it's essential to remember this strategy. This creature is weak against fire. Its movement will noticeably become more sluggish after being exposed to fire. Lim Dae-in swiftly charged at the snail, instructing Lily to provide cover, to which she readily agreed. In his mind, Lim Dae-in strategized, recognizing that the snail's tentacles possessed excellent regenerative abilities, necessitating Lily's assistance. As he closed in on the enemy, he signaled Lily to initiate her attack. Lily conjured multiple fireballs, targeting the snail's tentacles. Satisfied with her performance, Lim Dae-in praised her, and Lily beamed with joy at the acknowledgement. Together, they successfully severed all of the snail's tentacles. Lim Dae-in knew from his research that once most of the tentacles were removed, the creature would retreat within its shell to regenerate, just as described in the guidebook. Lily voiced her concern, what should we do? It's blocked. Lim Dae-in replied confidently, we can use what I brought from the car. It's a big chisel. He continued, "This bastard shell is incredibly tough. We'll attack it from the outside, targeting its weakest spots first." Lim Dae-in imbued the chisel with his aura and used the back of the handle of his dagger to pierce the shell with the chisel. As they worked diligently, Lily grew bored, and the hunters outside the firewall remained unaware of the ongoing battle within. Wang Guho reflected on the advice Lim Dae-in had given him earlier. Finally, Lim Dae-in finished piercing the shell, with only one spot remaining. He realized he needed to act quickly, thinking, "I have to target the center of its shell before it regenerates its tentacles. With the most powerful strike that we can deliver right now." Lim Dae-in jumped, emitting his aura, and executed the ocean cultivation technique, Thunderclap Punch. The released aura traveled through the chisels, shattering the shell, and the snail emerged. Exhausted and lying on the ground, Lim Dae-in reflected, during the tests, "It seems like using it more than twice a day would be too much. But my body is too weak to properly use martial arts." Lily, concerned, approached him but suddenly kicked him, asking, "Could it be that you've been electrocuted?" Lim Dae-in, in a somewhat jesting manner, replied, "You should help me at times like this, but I did manage to capture it." Lily then inquired, "Should I get rid of the firewall now?" Lim Dae-in decided to keep the firewall up a little longer, stating, "We have worked hard, so we should take the spoils. Let's take a lot. This bastard's tentacles are very soft and nutritious." He recognized the potential of the snail's tentacles as ingredients for mana nutrient potions. After gathering enough meat, Lim Dae-in contacted the control center, asking, "Team leader, are you there?" Bang Woo-hyuk from Team 2 responded, "This is Team 2's leader, Bang Woo-hyuk. We've heard the situation. We're coming in to help." Lim Dae-in instructed, "I'll put out the fire, so come inside then. I haven't taken the most important thing here yet." Bang Woo-hyuk expressed concern, saying, "But it's hard to deal with that snail with just 2 people. It's your first day on the field, so don't overdo it." Lim Dae-in asked Lily to extinguish the fire, surprising the hunters outside, who couldn't believe that 2 individuals, one of whom was a child, had defeated the snail. One hunter inquired, "Team leader Lim Dae-in, did you perhaps catch that monster on your own?" Lim Dae-in responded modestly, "It was a life-threatening struggle. Fortunately, I had good luck." The hunters from different guilds expressed their astonishment at Lim Dae-in's achievement. Lim Dae-in then addressed team leader Bang, saying, "My apologies, but can you take care of the cleanup?" Bang Woo-hyuk reassured him, Okay. Don't worry about it and get off from work first. If your injuries are serious, you should go to the guild and get yourself treated." Suddenly, Lim Dae-in remembered what his waifu had said about getting hurt, and he cautiously replied, "I'll take a good rest and think about it." Lily, feeling tired and hungry, was ready to eat. Lim Dae-in suggested, "You've also worked hard today. Let's eat as much as we want for today." They purchased a variety of food, with fried chicken being Lily's favorite. Lily was enthusiastic and declared, "I'll catch another snail again." Lim Dae-in uttered profanities in a moment of joy while drinking and forcefully placed his glass on the table. Lily, taken aback by his words, wondered if such language was customary during meals. Suddenly, she impulsively exclaimed the same offensive word, causing Lim Dae-in to spit out his drink. Regretfully, he thought that he had unintentionally uttered inappropriate language in front of a child. Trying to correct the situation, Lim Dae-in sternly told Lily that it was a bad word and she shouldn't use it. Lily, curious, asked why he used such words while enjoying chicken. Did you enjoy the story? If so, please consider showing your support by liking and subscribing to my channel. Your encouragement keeps us going. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace.